So I think everybody knows the Ghostbuster movies, but what is Ghostbusters the game about?
Ghostbusters, the game, begins in 1991, which is 2 years after the last of the Ghostbusters movies, and it takes place as sort of the next chapter of the Ghostbusters story. It's in New York City, which is an integral component to all Ghostbusters IPs, and the player plays as a new recruit who's hired at the very beginning of the game to serve as the prototype equipment technician, which means he's the guy who has to wear all the untested materials and weapons out in the field before the Ghostbusters will use them.
I understand you have the original screenwriters doing the script.
That's accurate. Yeah, it's a great benefit to us that Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis came on to help us with the script and actually write it, and they've contributed so much. One of our biggest goals when doing Ghostbusters is to keep it, or present for the very first time, a super authentic gameplay experience to play as a Ghostbuster, but also to get to watch the Ghostbusters at the same time. So having these guys involved in it, they kept us so in touch with actual Ghostbusters. You know, like it was a constant sort of litany of that's Ghostbusters, that's not Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? So they never let us get off track, but they contributed so much to making it a true authentic Ghostbusters experience when you're doing the gameplay. We've got the entire cast back, with the exception of one pretty critical component. We've got Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts came back, Janine, William Atherton, who played Peck in the original movie, Brian Doyle Murray, Alyssa Milano is our new love interest, and we weren't able to get Rick Moranis, but we've got a place for him if he ever wants to join into it. What happens in the plot, we're leaving a lot of it sort of shrouded for now, just because the fun part is going to be playing it and discovering it. But I can tell you that at the very beginning of the game, a supernatural event is accidentally triggered that emanates from the Museum of Natural History in New York City, and it emits a necromantic shockwave that coats the city and activates all the supernatural activity that's been a little bit dormant up until this point, resuscitates a lot of ghosts, agitates a lot of them, and actually calls some things back that you would rather not come back to New York City. And it sets in motion a chain of events that could very well lead to New York City being totally encroached by ghosts, being taken over by ghosts.
Are we going to see familiar ghosts?
We do. We recognize more than anything that Ghostbusters has some very iconic personalities and instances. So we've, with the creators' help, we've figured out ways to bring Slimer back, and Stay Puft is back. Oh, the librarian ghost as well.
So how does the game play?
It's an action title, primarily. It's got a sort of a shooter component, but we've added the classic proton stream for Ghostbusters, which adds a whole new element of not only shooting a ghost, but actually wrangling it and wrestling with it, using almost sort of a fishing line component, where you work against its struggles and struggle against it. But we've added a new element. When you have a captured ghost, you can slam the ghost into the environment or other ghosts, which will weaken it, but also destroy the environment. Environmental interaction is a big part of our game too, in that our engine, the Infernal engine, which is from Terminal Reality, we're using our own technology, allows us to do physics and simulate lots of physics and destruction in a way that we're not sure has ever been seen in games before. So destruction being a key element of the Ghostbusters IP, if you can't tear up a room, what's the point of playing Ghostbusters?
Will you have any sort of multiplayer or co-op?
There is going to be multiplayer, and it's I think Atari's going to talk more about that later on. They'll release more, but we can confirm, yes, there's competitive, and there is a co-op element, though it's removed from the story of the game and is framed more like in the movies where they have the montages of them capturing a bunch of ghosts, going on calls and assignments. It's framed more like that. So the Ghostbusters are going out on calls. When there's an emergency call, they respond to it and capture whatever's there, or deal with whatever the situation is there. So you get that sort of that Ghostbusters on the go feeling that's not necessarily separated from the story, but not actually seen during this regular single player gameplay.
Okay, thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for coming by.